How's everyone doing today? It's your boy JJ Domination, and today we're here with a Week 12 recap for the NFL season, and a couple of things I do want to address really quickly. Number one, I went 9-5 on predictions. Cool, like it happened. And I do want to address how my picks work. I guess it didn't come off clearly in the title of the video or how it's done. So let me just explain how my picks work for the people at home. Every week, I challenge myself as an NFL fan, a smart NFL fan, to make one lock of the week, a pick that you're confident about, a team that should easily take care of business, right? And sometimes picking a lock of the week is easy, but sometimes they lose. It's one of those things. You could be overconfident about a team. You could be selling them a little too much in this game. So I try to pick a lock of the week and then an upset of the week. The upset of the week is a team that has no business winning this game, but you think they have what it takes to win that game. Maybe they're in a must-win situation, backs against the wall, or you feel like it's a genuine upset. So that's how my picks work. I don't do straight-up pick-ems. That's lame. That's boring. I like to put a twist on things because, listen, there's a lot of people that do football commentary and that have YouTube channels with Madden and football, so I try to do things a little bit different, considering that I'm still new to YouTube and considering that I don't even have 100 subs. So quite frankly, I try to do things a little different to, just put little twists and stuff on my channel. Anybody can do pick'ems, but I like to put twists on the things that I do. So for those at home, yeah, you don't have to like it. Tough shit. That's how I do things. So if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you other than tough shit. Oh well, sorry. But let's go ahead and get started talking about the games. I'll try my best to breeze through this. I actually did already record this, but it went on like 20 minutes too long. So let's go ahead and get into it. Colts versus Texans. For me, the big difference maker was Will Fuller. Having that vertical deep threat on the field for Deshaun Watson really helped open up that passing game. And, he was a good college player, but injuries did kind of slow him down in college, and it started to in the NFL, and it has been in the NFL. And that was really the big difference for me. And, Deshaun Watson, good bounce back. He played like shit against the Baltimore Ravens, had to turn around a few days later and play the Indianapolis Colts. And he played good. Nothing much more to say about the Texans. Let's see. Jacoby Brissett. A lot of people are talking about, Jacoby Brissett. What's the ceiling with Jacoby Brissett and this team? Well, I'll go ahead and answer it. I think they're capable of beating a good bit of teams in the playoffs. Maybe not Baltimore or New England, but they've already beaten the Chiefs. So, yeah, I'll say they can do it again. Why not? But they have a limited ceiling for sure. They're one of those high floor, low ceiling teams. Like, they don't have a particularly great upside, but, Jacoby Brissett, he's efficient, he's safe with the football. He's not going to put you in harm's way a whole lot, unlike, Jameis, who he's kind of built like in a way. But, Jacoby Brissett's fine. He's a good quarterback, not great. He's not a special quarterback, but he's good enough to get the job done. Like, he's a good quarterback. Let's pump the brakes on, is he going to be replaced? Calm down. I swear, fickle football fans, man, you gotta love it. Overreaction culture. That's really all I have to say about the game. I guess the little side question I have is, how would the Texans be in the playoffs, assuming they make it, along with the Colts, potentially? The Texans do have a special kind of upside because of who they have at quarterback. Deshaun Watson's a special football player. Simple enough, simply put. So there is a certain upside there, but it seems like Bill O'Brien just kind of holds them back a little bit. Like, they've had multiple chances year after year in the playoffs, and they just can't get past the wild card. So I don't know. Just wait and see approach. That's all I really have to say about them. Dolphins versus Browns. I mean, the Browns' offense is starting to come around. They've been playing a lot better. Yeah, I know. They played Miami, so I guess it doesn't count for some people. But, I mean, they're playing well. I mean, you're doing what you're supposed to do against shit teams, and that's take advantage of them and play a great game. And Jarvis Landry, first time he's played against his old team. Remember, they traded him for like a third-round pick. Jarvis played well against the Miami Dolphins, his old team. And Odell finally getting a touchdown. Good to see. It's been a while for him. Good to see him get involved. A lot of it hasn't been really his fault. I know the media will paint it to be his fault, but it really hasn't been all, on him per se. So I'm not going to hold Odell's feet to the fire on why he hasn't scored a touchdown in so damn long. But Nick Chubb definitely balled out again in this game. Nick Chubb quietly has been like one of the 10 best running backs in football, like since he's come into the league. I don't think that's too crazy of a statement. He was very productive as a rookie in limited games played. He almost had 1,000 yards and like 10 total games played, or 11. So he was a beast like from the get-go. And I figured he'd be pretty good in the NFL, but not like borderline, elite like already. Like, jeez, slow down, man. Actually don't. Repping UGA. I appreciate it, man. Joe Schobert, whatever his name is, won AFC Defensive Player of the Week. He had 2 interceptions against Ryan Fitzpatrick. Good for him. One of them was kind of tipped in the air, and he made a great play. The other, just a clean jumping the route, making a play. So good for him. Miami, they ran a fake punt in this game. Respect for them for trying to, throw their opponents off a little bit, but it didn't work this time around. Last week, they got away with a lot of shit. Recovered an onside kick, ran the Wildcat down at the goal line, or within 5 yards, and Jakeem Grant had a kick return. So they got away with a lot last week. Didn't quite happen the way you expected this week. And there was a bad interception by Baker Mayfield. It was like an RPO play thrown behind Jarvis Landry, and the DB made a great play on it. But there are 2 players for the Miami Dolphins that I am going to be looking out for the rest of the year, because a lot of these guys are really auditioning for a job, because this team is going to be completely different next year. And one of those guys is Adrian Colbert. So he's a former 49ers free safety. He was picked up by the Seattle Seahawks off of the practice squad after he was waived or whatever. And then Miami picked him up and signed him to the 53-man roster. And obviously they like him. They see some upside in him. He's still very young as well. And this could be a good opportunity for him. He's slowly getting his feet wet again. He didn't look the greatest in this game, but he's starting to get his feet wet, maybe after a week or two, like maybe he'll be, on some shit. I don't know, but this is a good young player to take a little bit of a low-risk gamble on. It's not going to hurt them if he doesn't pay off, because they got him off of a practice squad. Worst case scenario, they put him back on the practice squad of their own team, and someone picks him up. That's the worst case scenario. And then Mike Gesicki, the tight end from Penn State a couple of years ago, just a freak athlete, a combine warrior, starting to put it all together. He was viewed more of a project player, or viewed more as a project player. He's really starting to put it all together in year 3. That's typically when some of these project players with high upside really start to put it together, around year 3 or year 4. And luckily for Mike Gesicki, he hasn't had the worst health, issues. So he's been doing good. Shout out to him. Really been balling over the last 3 or 4 weeks. But let's move on to the Lions-Redskins game. Dwayne Haskins, taking that selfie right before the victory formation. You know what, man? I ain't really too mad at him. Let him have some fun. I get it. Finish the game and then, go celebrate winning the second game of the year. But Washington had, it's just been having such a terrible season. So just let the young man celebrate. Like, come on. I don't really see the issue here. But I get it. It's one of those things where it's just unprofessional. Like, I got it. I get it. Cool. Shout out to Kelvin Harmon, by the way. He had a crazy one-handed catch in this game. He played very well. He played very well in this game. I had like an early third-round grade on him. Excuse me. And I think he went in like the 6th round, and it was just kind of bizarre at the time. And he's been playing pretty good. He's gotten an opportunity, more reps recently, and he's been making the most of it. So it's good to see a player that I really liked getting on the field and actually proving he can play. So good for him. An interesting little kick return from Steven Sims. You know, he had a roster bubble guy, makes the team as a kick returner. He had a 91-yard kick return in this game. He's kind of been underrated this season as a special teamer. Not even just the touchdown, but overall, like, he's had a pretty good impact on special teams. I mean, not a guy that'll probably make the Pro Bowl or anything, but just something to keep your eye on. Like, he's been pretty good in special teams this year. Now, more on the Detroit Lions side for a second. Why do they not use TJ Hawkinson more? Like, I get Jesse James is there. You paid him a decent penny. You want to get him going, right? He's a good player. I don't blame him. You know, Logan Thomas, he's like a former Virginia Tech quarterback turned tight end, and he's had a pretty good career as a tight end. Like, nothing major, but the fact that he's been around this long as a dude who had to switch positions, like, he deserves a lot of credit for that. It's hard to change positions in the NFL and find a home and be on a roster for as long as you have. Like, some guys switch positions and they just rot away. Like, they don't play. Like Blake Sims, I think he moved to running back. He was a former Bama quarterback, and he moved to running back. Hasn't found the shelf life at all in the NFL. Like, he's been on practice squads here or there, but really hasn't done shit. And then you look at Logan Thomas, he's found a home at tight end. So good for him. But you drafted TJ Hawkinson at number 8 overall, and the dude plays a decent bit. I mean, he plays, like, I would like to say, just under the majority of the snaps. And it's like, y'all don't use him. Like, what the hell? Why are you drafting players and just, like, not using them? Like, you know, especially that damn high. He's a top 10 pick. Come on, man. Dwayne Haskins, though, he played okay. He threw, like, an interception on a 50-50 ball to Kelvin Harmon, I believe. Just a better play by the defensive back. I think it was Ari Oraware or something, the defensive back from Penn State. Pretty solid prospect. I think he went in like the 4th or 5th round, and that was about his range, I think. Maybe a little bit higher according to most people, but he looked pretty good in this game. Good little interception for him. And then Jeff Driscoll really didn't play that bad. He played okay, but then the last 2 drives kind of happened, and he threw 2 interceptions, and you know, those were 2 just bad decisions. And yeah, you know, Jeff Driscoll's a good backup. Nothing crazy. Like, he's a good athlete at the backup quarterback position, but if I'm the Detroit Lions, you might as well shut Matthew Stafford down for the year. And I think they signed, or they're working out backup quarterbacks, or they're working out a variety of quarterbacks. So it could be the sign that they are going to shut down Stafford for the year if they do end up signing one of those guys. So we'll see. Something to monitor. Raiders versus Jets. Sam Darnold, man. What a season it's been for him, man. What a second year it's been. He's trending up in the right direction. You got 2 easier games coming up against the Cincinnati Bengals and the Miami Dolphins, who you did struggle against, but, you know, you could play better. You'll be at home that week. And, you know, he's starting to trend up in the right direction. We all made fun of him, including me, about seeing Ghost, and he's still got, like, this little Jameis Winston quality to him because he was super turnover prone in college. But he's been playing very well. Like, Jameis has really good games. Sam Darnold's having an awesome little stretch of football for him. Good to see his confidence going up. There were some early drops by the Oakland Raiders wide receivers. Tyrell Williams had a miserable performance, you know, had a lot of drops. And Greg Williams' defense, credit to them, because Oakland came down first drive, got a field goal, and yeah, they got a little bit of chunk plays here or there throughout the game, like a good little run by Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller getting a couple of catches, but Greg Williams' defense played awesome. Only gave up 3 points. There was a pick 6 by Brian Poole, which was awesome. You know, very good play on his part. But I will touch on a couple of bad penalties throughout, you know, some of these games. And there was one really bad roughing the passer call on Mo Hurst. Just bad. I don't want to dig too deep into it. We know the officiating isn't the best in the NFL. It's pretty bad, actually. But that was something I wanted to touch on. A lot of kickers had really bad games as well, especially on the Northeast. You know, like I think Redskins kicker and Matt Prater, like, they didn't have the greatest of games. I think they missed a kick or two. And in this game, it was kind of the same deal. Guys were missing kicks. Sam Fitkin and what's his name? Daniel Carlson. Yeah, Daniel Carlson. Like, they were missing kicks as well. And I do want to give a little shout out here to Ryan Griffin. Not RG3, but the tight end for the New York Jets, former Houston Texan tight end. He signed a 3-year extension at the beginning of last week. And he comes into this game, he balls out, gets himself a touchdown. This was supposed to be like the year of Christopher Herndon again, because he had a good rookie season, and we thought he would build more on a sophomore campaign. But then he gets slapped with a 4-game suspension. Then he's dealing with a hamstring injury, so it's been a little rough for him. But I did want to give him some credit there. He's been playing pretty good, last couple of weeks. So good stuff, man. Giants at Bears. The Bears won. Cool, I guess. Nice to see Khalil Mack still exist. He dominated a bad offensive line. That's what you're supposed to do. Like, we talked about it with the Browns and how they dominated the Dolphins. Like, if you're playing bad teams or a bad skill position group or a bad line, like, yeah, you better dominate. Like, geez, I'd hope so. So good for Khalil Mack, getting some confidence back. Again, more missed field goals. Aldrick Rosas, I think, missed 2 kicks. Eddie Pinheiro missed a kick. Like I said, man, just a bad week for kickers, I guess. Luckily, Mason Crosby didn't have to kick any field goals because we scored 8 points, and that's about it. Allen Robinson, he played well. Almost got like half of his yards on one play. The quarterback play for both teams, not good. Like, it is what it is. Daniel Jones had a rough time against the Bears defense. I expect that. Trubisky having a bad game against the Giants defense. Like, you would think he'd play a little bit better, but I mean, I guess the silver lining is he had an awesome rushing touchdown. Or not awesome, but it's just good to see that they actually let him run the ball, because he can run the football. He's a good athlete. It's good to see. Yeah, I'll give him that. Good rushing touchdown. But I am a little bit concerned about Saquon. Ever since the injury, things just haven't been the same. Granted, the offensive line hasn't been playing as well. And next week they'll be playing Green Bay. Green Bay's run defense isn't good. But, who knows? Maybe Saquon can start to get some momentum. Panthers at Saints. The Saints sneak away with a win this time around. It was a really fun game to watch. It was like 34-31. Just an offensive show. Kyle Allen, shout out to him. He actually had a pretty good game. Was impressive. He did take some sacks here or there, but we'll talk about that. Not really his fault, just Saints pressure. But Kyle Allen played very well in this game. DJ Moore balled out as well. And it wasn't just Christian McCaffrey or bust. Like, DJ Moore had a great game. Greg Olsen did his little thing throughout the game. Joey Sly, the kicker for the Carolina Panthers, just shit the bed. Really bad game. Just really bad. Let's see here. That Saints pass rush, it seemed to come at the right time. Like, on second down, like, they would go to throw it, and then they'd make it like 3rd and long, and getting sacks in the red zone, forcing them to kick field goals. Like, just situationally, the Saints seem to get pressure at the right time. But talking more about the offense of the Saints, it's good to see that Jared Cook is getting more involved. He was pretty good for Green Bay. I miss him right about now. Why did we sign Jimmy Graham? Don't know. Still don't know to this day. But it was nice to see Jared Cook getting more involved. And I guess you really can't guard Mike Thomas, man. Michael Thomas just tore it up. He's on pace to shatter the receptions record in a season by Marvin Harrison. And he's just been balling. And his Twitter handle, of course, is Can't Guard Mike. That's why I threw that in there. But seriously, I don't think there's a DB that can at this point. I mean, I know it was against Carolina. Their corners aren't the greatest, but they've been playing well for the most part. And they just had no answer. And Drew Brees, he did have like an interception. More of a better play by Trey Boston than just, damn, Drew Brees, why'd you throw that? Just one of those little things right there. And a really bad Well, yeah, it was bad. The Saints, the rule that they basically enforced, bit them in the ass again. I mean, they won, but basically put, there was pass interference. Saints, or somebody challenged it. I think Carolina challenged it, and it gets reversed, and it's like, oh, the Saints get shafted on the rule that they enforced, you know? Because, remember, the NFC Championship, I don't think I need to remind anybody what happened, but if you know, you know. It was tough. Good win for the Saints, though. Seahawks versus Eagles. Carson Wentz, I get it, man. Windy game. Russell Wilson played in the same conditions and played better. So, I don't want to hear the excuses. I mean, yeah, the receiving core is not great right now in Philadelphia. But, I don't know, man. I don't know. Carson Wentz, not looking good this year. I don't want to overreact, though. Like, I know a lot of people are overreacting, saying, oh, this is Dak Prescott's better, and he's been better all along, and oh, they should have kept Nick Foles. Like, I get it. You know, a guy has a bad game, and everyone's going to react and overreact because, I mean, yeah, Carson Wentz is having a bad year. You know, it happens. So is Baker Mayfield. He's having a bad year. Like, it happens. It doesn't mean they're a bad player. It just means they're not... Nothing's clicking. And for Carson Wentz, I mean, the only reason the Eagles are alive right now is because Dallas keeps losing these big games. And I've been hearing and seeing takes like, oh, is Doug Peterson really a good coach? And it's like, come on. You know, like, just stop. Like, stop overreacting to every damn thing. Come on, people. But Russell Wilson didn't have a great game, but I tell you what, you know, like, he had an awesome touchdown on a deep pass to Malik Turner. It was like a little trick play. Carson gets the ball, throws it back to Wilson, and then Wilson drops it right in the breadbasket for Malik Turner. Just an awesome play. Like, that play alone, just wow, you know? And we got to see some Rashad Penny in this game. He was awesome. He had a big touchdown run of like 58 yards. He absorbed the Ronald Darby hit, kept pushing. And Chris Carson, another fumble. He just looked miserable out there, you know, but I mean, what can you do? They kept giving him the ball, but they just included Rashad Penny more, so that way his confidence wouldn't go down the shitter. You know, that's just how it goes sometimes. Jalen Mills, I gotta give Jalen Mills some credit. I mean, one big catch from Tyler Lockett, and that's about it. And it's like, ever since he's come back, he's been their best performing defensive back. He may not be their best defensive back, but he's been performing like it, so you gotta give him a lot of credit for that. Let's see. Seattle's defense, 5 takeaways without Jadeveon Clowney. 2 interceptions from Carson Wentz. I think also 2 fumbles as well. And I think Dallas Goedert fumbled on like a tight end screen. Just a bizarre game. This was a really bad one for Philadelphia. One that they needed to win. But looking at Philadelphia's schedule coming up, like they play Miami, they play the Giants twice. They play the Redskins. They get their rematch with Dallas in Philadelphia. So, for me, there's no excuses why Philadelphia can't make the playoffs and win this division. You know, like, they should be able to. They're playing Miami next week. I swear, if they lose to Miami, just pack it in, man. Pack it in. I don't know what to say, man. That's going to be tough. Bucks at Falcons. You know, Young Ho Koo, or however the hell you want to pronounce his name. Young Hao. Yeah, whatever. His name is Ho. Okay, having a pretty good kicking career with Atlanta, at least. I mean, I don't think he's missed a kick for Atlanta. That's good. I hope I don't jinx him. I'm just saying. Jameis Winston, what a damn headache he is. 2 interceptions, and, you know, he's running for his life, and, you know, he gets like a 3 touchdown performance, 2 to Chris Godwin, 1 to Vita Vea. Vita Vea has been fired this year. Just really good. Developing a little bit more of a pass rush, pushing the pocket a little bit more from the nose tackle position. It's good to see that. Also good to see from Atlanta's perspective, Quandre Allison getting some playing time. I think he was like a 4th or 5th round pick from Pittsburgh. good to see him getting some playing time. Isaiah Oliver, with the exception of one play, which didn't matter because Jameis Winston was under duress, didn't see it. Isaiah Oliver did a really good job on Mike Evans in this game, playing the perimeter very well, or the sidelines. And, you know, basically Mike Evans whooped his ass on press coverage, and Jameis Winston didn't see it because he was under a lot of duress. So it's almost like it didn't happen, but I've seen the film, buddy. It happened. Isaiah Oliver, my good friend that me and Aaron met at Falcons training camp, yeah, I seen it, pal. I seen it. I mean, you did good, though. You played a very good game. But just know that I seen it, okay? Just know it, buddy. Let's see here. What's up on my notes? The Falcons blocked the kick. I think it was either a field goal or an extra point. Had to have been, obviously, because they blocked the kick. But great effort to try to return it, at least. Give you credit there. Just awesome. Good stuff. Let's see here. Matt Ryan, a rough day, man, but he's a damn trooper. I don't know what else to say. Like, he threw an interception on like a 50-50 ball to Calvin Ridley. Ridley lost it, you know, lost that 50-50 battle. It's gonna happen. Yeah, I mean, it happens to everyone. Then he fumbled twice. We know Matt Ryan's got fumbleitis. It is what it is. But Matt Ryan's a damn trooper. I mean, I think he's a good quarterback. I think pretty highly of Matt Ryan compared to most people and even most Falcon fans in general. Like, I just do. I think he's good. Let's see here. Trufant, tough game with Chris Godwin. Like, yeah, he does have some interceptions on the year, and I'm not going to discredit takeaways because getting takeaways is more of an opportunistic thing than just being really good. Like I said, not discrediting it, though. Like, getting takeaways is tough. It's a tough business. But Trufant had a rough day on Chris Godwin. Like, credit to him for creating takeaways, but damn, you know? And then Grady Jarrett dominated the game in the trenches. Like, what else is new? That's what he does. One of my guys from many years ago in the draft. It just doesn't surprise me. Like, it's Grady Jarrett. Broncos versus Bills. I want to give Josh Allen a ton of credit. He had a bad interception in this game to Justin Simmons. He's been playing well the last 3 weeks. I think he has 11 touchdowns, 1 interception. And there are 2 other players that do want to talk about from this game. Number 1, Courtland Sutton for Denver. He's been having an awesome sophomore season, but he only had 1 catch in this game for 27 yards. And a lot of that is a testament to the second player that we're going to talk about, Tre'Davious White. And he needs to be talked about more as one of the best defensive backs in the league, because he is. He just is. You know, Marlon Humphrey, you know, he's been locking stuff down. He's been very good for Baltimore. Stephon Gilmore might just be the best corner in football. We know Jalen Ramsey's up there as well. Marshawn Lattimore's not doing too bad himself. He's starting to find himself again. And there are other guys I'm forgetting about. I'm sure there's a lot of good DBs out there. But Tre'Davious White, just a lockdown defensive back. He also got an interception in this game, but his matchup was Courtland Sutton, the number 1 receiver. After that 1 catch that he had very early, like within the first 2 or 3 minutes, that was it. He went catchless. And he also had an interception, had a pass breakup or 2. Like, Tre'Davious White, one of the best corners in the league. I truly think he's underrated. And I don't really like to use the underrated, phrase a lot anymore. But he's one of those guys that he just is. Buffalo's offense, I really like Buffalo's offense. You know, it's kind of a poor man's version of Baltimore without all the pistol formation stuff, but it's effective. They run the football, take their deep shots with Josh Allen, that rocket arm that he has, and let's see here. John Brown, what a free agent signing that was. Ironically enough, did play with Baltimore last year. Was pretty good, you know, but with Josh Allen, I feel like he's just been a better fit because he is a deep threat wide receiver. But shout out to John Brown, and also shout out to Frank Gore. 3rd all-time in rushing yards in a career. He just passed Barry Sanders. And Devin Singletary had a 100-yard rushing game. Shout out to him as well. I really like what I've been seeing from Buffalo. Like, yeah, they haven't played the greatest of competition. I get that, but they've been taking care of business. And speaking of taking care of business, Shaq Lawson in a contract year. Covern, who the hell is Covern? Connor McGovern was talking smack to him pregame, saying, "Oh, I haven't heard your name since college." And then Shaq Lawson gets 2 sacks, being very disruptive. And in the nickel packages, he does play defensive tackle. Like, he can play that. He's pretty good at that. Ed Oliver also got in there for a sack, but Shaq Lawson did talk his shit after the game. He's like, "Yeah, I bet you know about me now. I got 2 sacks on your ass today." You know, like, just funny. I like it when players, back it up on the field and then talk their little shit afterwards. Like, it's all within the fun of the game. I like that kind of stuff. Don't talk shit and then go out there and play like trash. Like, just back it up. And Shaq Lawson did that. I have nothing else really to say about this game. Good win for Buffalo. They played Dallas on Thanksgiving. We'll see if they have what it takes to beat Dallas. They're an interesting team themselves. Steelers versus Bengals. Mason Rudolph. It was fun while it lasted. It's over. Devlin Hodges is now the starting quarterback next week. He came into this game as well. Gave this team instant life. Mason Rudolph, man, it's been tough for him. Not only does he get his ass kicked practically, but apparently, like, he said some racist shit to Myles Garrett. Apparently. I'm saying apparently because I don't know for sure. I wasn't there in the pile. I can't tell you. It's one man's word versus another man's word. And he plays like shit here and he gets benched. I mean, what a roller coaster ride it's been for him. And let's see here. Devlin Hodges just came in, gave this team a spark. And then you look at Ryan Finley. He's heading back to the bench in favor of Andy Dalton. This one doesn't make as much sense because you're 0-11. Like, why? Just let Andy Dalton sit. Just let him sit. I mean, as soon as you announced that you were going to bench him, he was already talking about, "Oh, I'm going to get with my agent. I'm going to make some, try to find a trade destination." Well, let him work on that a little bit more and let Ryan Finley play. Like, I know we get it. Up to this point, he doesn't look like a starting quarterback. He looks like a solid backup, but let him play. Let him get those reps. He's a rookie, Like, you're 0-11. Just let him. Like, jeez, don't make this difficult. But I do want to give a shout out to a few players. Joe Mixon and Benny Snell, the 2 running backs in this game. And then Tyler Boyd and James Washington. All those guys played very well. So shout out to them. I just wanted to give them a little bit of praise. They've been playing well. They played well in this game. Good to see. And then Pittsburgh, that AFC wildcard picture is getting a little crowded. Can they make it? I think after this game against Cleveland, we'll have a better answer because they're down 1-0 to Cleveland on the year. And a win here will put them back in the race. If Cleveland sweeps them, I think they're effectively done. But we'll see. We'll wait and see. Jaguars versus the Titans, man. The Titans taking care of business 42-20. They dominated Jacksonville. And Derrick Henry, just an awesome game. He's been very good this year. Started out kind of cold, and then by the midseason point, or damn near the midseason, picked it up. And he's been red hot ever since. Leonard Fournette also had a very good game, but it's going to be overshadowed thanks to Derrick Henry and Tennessee scoring 42. But he came into this game, Leonard Fournette that being, with 1 rushing touchdown. He gets 2 in this game. And, he was just pretty good on the day in general. I mean, it's him and DJ Chark because Nick Foles gives this team 0 juice on offense. They just look unmotivated out there. They're just not playing good with Nick Foles. And I believe that this team was really happy with Gardner Minshew giving them a chance. And now Nick Foles has come back, and this team just doesn't have life. Ever since that London game, the life's been sucked out of him. We know Gardner Minshew played bad in that game. It was an excuse to get Nick Foles back on the field. And personally, I wanted to see what Nick Foles would look like in this offense. But if 2 weeks ain't enough to see what he can do, then you need to see what Gardner Minshew, can do for the rest of the year. You know, and I think I said that when I was reacting to the Nick Foles news of him starting. Like, yeah, it's an unpopular decision, but you do need to see what he looks like. And I'm pretty sure I said if 3 to 4 weeks isn't enough, he's not the answer. You need to put Minshew back in and let him finish out the year and get some confidence. And I think at this point, why not put him back in? And this is a little interesting stat by Mike Vrabel, the head coach for Tennessee. 12 consecutive wins when leading at halftime. I guess that's the key. Go in with a halftime lead and they'll finish the deal. And also 4-1 with Tannehill as a starter this year. And Tannehill's been playing pretty good. Like, he hasn't been like a fluke or anything. Not like a little 15 minutes of fame thing. Like, he's been playing pretty good. Definitely going to create some free agent interest, that's for sure. So shout out to him. Also, now it's time to talk Cowboys and Patriots. We've been hearing a lot of stuff about Jason Garrett, and I've been seeing a lot of different reports come up. It's been weird. Like, it's just been very weird. Like, Jerry Jones came out and was like, I want Jason Garrett to get it done. He's basically putting him on blast. I don't know if this is to motivate him or what this is, but like, Jason Garrett, yeah, enough is enough. You look at all the longest tenured head coaches in the league, he's the least accomplished, and he still has a job. And at one point that was Marvin Lewis, and the Bengals eventually moved on from Marvin Lewis. Are they still shit without Marvin Lewis? Yes, but they moved on from him finally. It took them that long, and yeah, the coaching in this game was not great. Bad game plan in general. Like, this should have been the Zeke game. And I know there's this narrative going around, is it Dak's team, is it Zeke's team? It's both of their teams. I just feel like Zeke sets things up better for Dak, naturally. Because if you have a running game, you're opening up a lot of passing lanes. Like, that's just common knowledge to football fans at this point. If you can run the ball, and you're effective at running the ball, that play action, that's going to be there every time. And just a bad game plan. And there were some really bad penalties on Dallas as well. But they just came in with a shitty game plan. Like, they deserved to lose this game. Like, yeah, I feel bad about the penalties, especially when the NFL comes back and says, oh, it shouldn't have been called. Well, thanks a lot. That doesn't help Dallas at all. I mean, that just hurts the situation. It's like an insult to injury. But they played bad, so in that sense they deserve to lose. The Patriots special teams was really the only difference maker in this game. Matthew Slater blocked the punt. It set him up in great field position, and N'Keal Harry gets a touchdown off of it. And I do want to talk about N'Keal Harry because I think he's a pretty good receiver. Like, when I was doing my little evaluation on the receivers for the draft, I didn't really make a YouTube video on it, I don't think. But just in my mind, when I was like, okay, who were the top 3 or 4 receivers? I'm pretty sure I had N'Keal Harry at like 3 or 4. Like, he can be pretty good. And, he's one of these guys who, he's a physical receiver. He's not 6'5", but he's like 6'2". And the comparison for him, for a lot of people, was Anquan Bolden. I actually like that comparison. If I like a comparison, I'm going to keep going with it. But N'Keal Harry, I feel like with more reps, naturally, is going to get better as a rookie. But with Tom Brady, he's going to start developing this chemistry, and it's going to be awesome because he's developed a great chemistry with Julian Edelman, obviously. And, like, in zone coverage, Julian just knows where to be at all times. And, with the running backs, Rex Burkhead, James White, he's got a really good chemistry with them, and they know where to be at all times. And I feel like with N'Keal Harry, the more reps he gets, the better, because he's going to have this chemistry with Brady, and he's going to know where to be at all times, and it's really just going to benefit everyone involved, because this offense does need a little bit of juice. I'm just going to keep it real, but, Brady is also 42. Let's keep that in mind. Like, come on, people. Packers at 49ers. This was a tough game for me to watch. Obviously, y'all know I'm a Green Bay fan. The 49ers just whooped ass, took names. They're legit. Okay, let's cut the bullshit. They're a legitimate team. Okay, let's cut it out. Let's not be cute and be like, oh, I don't know. It says more about the Packers. And no. The Packers' flaws have been out there. I made a video 3 weeks ago saying why the Packers aren't this elite football team this year. And I gave all the reasons. And, you know, like, at the end of the day, we also still have a rookie head coach. Not using it as an excuse, but this was a bad coaching game for Matt LaFleur. He didn't adjust at halftime. He has, like, the worst play calling on 4th and 1 ever. Like, I don't blame the decision at all to go for it. I'm all for going for it on 4th and 1. But, damn, you want to call some better plays? You ran the same play 2 weeks ago at Carolina on the goal line, and you know what happened? You lost a yard. You want to know what happened here? You lost a yard. Insanity. The definition of insanity is doing the same shit over and over and expecting a different result. No, Matt LaFleur. No, pretty boy. That's not how it works. You gotta call some better plays. You know, you're a great offensive mind. You're smart. You have a bright future, but come on, man. You gotta call some better plays. Don't get cute. Turn around, power I, give it to your fullback, or run a quarterback dive, or, you know, run it to Jamal from the power I set, or run a little play action boot. Something. Like, don't get cute, man. Don't get cute. Just, come on, Matt. There's my little rant, I guess, on the play calling. But he's a rookie coach. He's learning. He's 8-3 as a freaking rookie head coach. Let's not overreact here. He's going to learn. There are growing pains with new coaches all the time. And the fact that we're in this position that we're in is already a major W. And personally, I did not expect to win a Super Bowl this year. I would love for Aaron Rodgers to get one before he retires, but what separates me from a lot of Packer fans is I'm more of a realistic type of fan. I'm a realist. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. If Aaron Rodgers plays terrible, if any fan favorite plays terrible, I'm going to call him out. Simple as that. And Aaron Rodgers was bad, granted, didn't have a whole lot of opportunities to be good because the 49ers defensive line is just amazing. Watching the 49ers D-line on tape it's just fascinating because everybody on that defensive line is really good. Like, and this is without D Ford, by the way. Like, Nick Bosa is just a freaking beast. Like, he's like the only other lineman other than Aaron Donald to have 8 sacks, 13 tackles per loss, or 4 loss, and like 33 plus, like, I don't know, is it pressures or quarterback hurries or something? Like, it's incredible. He's an elite company. And then you have DJ Jones, who completely dominated Corey Linsley and Elton Jenkins a little bit. This is the first game I've seen Elton Jenkins really struggle as a rookie, other than that Minnesota game where he was getting his feet wet for the first time. And I think that's the game he came in for Lane Taylor, actually. And then also, who's on the other? You got Arik Armstead, who was a first-round pick. You got DeForest Buckner, who's a beast. Kind of goes under the radar at times, but very good. I mean, that defensive line is just awesome. Green Bay got their asses kicked by a more physical team. Kind of like what happened against the Chargers. You know, like, it's just how it is. But I do want to give credit to Jimmy Garoppolo. He balled out. George Kittle, Deebo Samuel all had great games, so I want to give credit to those guys. The middle of the field for Green Bay has just been wide open every game. Like, tight ends over the last 5 weeks have been averaging 6 catches for 100 yards and most likely getting a touchdown. Like, George Kittle dominated. I expect him to dominate because he's one of the best 2 or 3 tight ends in football. It's not really a debate at this point. Like, he's probably the best blocker out of all of the elite tight ends in football. And I would argue he's just as good as Travis Kelce in the receiving game. I think what makes him special is, you know, the chemistry he has with Patrick Mahomes already. But George Kittle is not too far off, and I don't think it's ridiculous to say he's the best tight end either. But, you know, like I said about Matt LaFleur, this was a learning experience for him. Like, good coaches come off a bye and play much better than this. It's a learning experience, man. You can't really be too frustrated. I was more frustrated at the people talking shit because it's like, first of all, your team's 3-8. Like, don't come at me, about my damn team. We're 8-3 with a goddamn rookie coach. Shut your mouth and worry about what's going on in your building. Like, that was just kind of how I felt. I was more frustrated about how flat we came out, but I understand also as a rookie coach, there's a lot to learn, and I expect him to be better moving forward, but you got to come out here and beat the shit out of the Giants to kind of earn it back for me personally, because the Giants should not make this a game. The Bears made it a game because Mitchell Trubisky just sucks, but this cannot be competitive. You got to beat the shit out of them. And by beat the shit out of them, for me, you got to win by 2 touchdowns. You can't win by 10 points. That's not beating the shit out of them. That's giving them false hope. You got to win by 2 touchdowns this week to get my trust back a little bit. I mean, a win's a win, but you got to dominate next week. And finally, Ravens at Rams. This was my upset of the week. I already explained how upsets of the week work. So yeah, it was a terrible pick for an upset, but refer to the beginning of the video. I explained my reasoning behind it. If you're still not capable enough to understand it, keep replaying it until it gets stuck in your brain, because I don't really want to explain it again. It's understood. It should be understood. But Lamar Jackson, as of this very moment, we'll see what happens next week when he plays San Francisco and when Russell Wilson plays Minnesota. But at this moment, he is the MVP. You can't deny it anymore. I know people are trying to deny it and just stretch out their criticism for Lamar. I don't know how the hell you can criticize 5 touchdown passes on 15 of 20 passing, which should have been 16 of 20 passing if Mark Andrews knew how to catch a ball. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I don't know how you can deny it at this point. Like, he's been playing very well. He has played like the MVP, and he has just as many touchdowns as Russell Wilson. He's got way more rushing yards, obviously, because he gets more opportunities to run the football. And this offense is just probably the most physical offense in the league. And it's an interesting dynamic because they're going to go up against the most physical defense in the NFL in San Francisco. So it's just an interesting dynamic. Baltimore's offense, they're going to punch you in the mouth and they're going to force you to punch back. And if you can't stop the run, they're going to run until you force them to pass. And then when they pass, Lamar Jackson, who has taken major strides as a passer, is going to just dot you up, nickel and dime you. And every once in a while, he'll take his deep shots. And this is like the 3rd or 4th game where he didn't even have to play in the 4th quarter. Let's keep that in mind. While you're talking shit about Lamar and saying, oh, you're not sold on him, keep that in mind. This is the 4th game he didn't have to play in the 4th quarter because he took care of business in the 3rd quarter, and the defense, took care of their end of the bargain as well. And yes, Baltimore does have a much better defense. That Marcus Peters trade, probably the most impactful trade for a team this year, and that deserves to be noticed. But before that, everyone was like, oh, this defense is below average, and oh, they don't have a pass rush, and oh, their D-line isn't as good as it used to be. Like, everybody was talking down on the Ravens defense, and because Lamar has been killing it, and the defense has been killing it, the narrative is now, oh, well, it's a team effort. Look at his defense. The same defense that you said wasn't that good a few weeks ago? Fuck out of here, bro. And that goes for everybody. That goes for all the little Twitter people. That goes for some of my friends who are still not convinced of Lamar Jackson. Dude, it's not a fad. Like, it's legit. And Colin Cowherd, man, I brought him up a few times this year for good points. He made an excellent point yesterday. Everyone's worried about, can Lamar last? All great things don't last. The only great thing that's really lasted in the NFL was the New England Patriots dynasty. Not everything lasts. Cam Newton didn't last. Cam Newton had a great 2015 season, and he had a great rookie season. Not everything in the NFL lasts. So y'all got to get out of this frame of mind like, oh, can it be sustainable? Can it last? I don't know, but it's really good now. And I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl, but they present a lot of mismatches for people. And yeah, New England probably would beat them the second time. I'm pretty sure of it. But let's stop with the questions about Lamar. Seriously, it's over. Just give it up. You can't prolong this, oh, is he really good? Just, no, you can't anymore. The argument ended yesterday. Because he beat the shit out of the Rams defense and a Wade Phillip defense that has Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald. So I don't want to hear it. Wade Phillips has given my quarterback problems. Aaron Rodgers. Lamar just shredded them up. You can't deny it at this point. You can't. At some point, you got to give him credit. You know, I don't know how you don't after a 5-touchdown game, but oh well. The Ravens offense, we talked about how physical they are. I like the aggressive decisions from John Harbaugh to go for it, even when you're blowing them out. Like, yeah, keep your foot on the gas, prove a point. You know what I'm saying? And Jared Goff was bad in this game, but you can't really put it all on him. It's kind of hard to establish the run as well when you're down 28-6. So I kind of expect, the Rams to not run the ball as much when you're down by 3 freaking touchdowns. Like, give me a break. And yeah, like I said, Jared Goff was bad. You're also playing with 3 new offensive linemen in this game. I believe at left guard with Austin Corbett finally getting the start, traded from the Browns. You're starting Bobby Evans at right tackle from Oklahoma, I believe. And you're starting a new right guard, I believe. And then you have like a backup center in there still. So it makes 100% sense why Jared Goff struggled. That offensive line's a joke. He didn't play his best ball. He threw an interception to Marcus Peters. I can't put it all on Jared Goff, man. It was a bad night for everyone. I mean, it's similar to what happened with the Green Bay game. It was a bad night for everybody involved, including the quarterback. But Jared Goff didn't really have an opportunity to turn this puppy around. So that is my Week 12 recap right there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. Peace out.